This will be the last video on Keepa that you ever need to watch. After watching this video, you will drastically improve your chances of finding products that will actually make you money. You'll avoid listings that will most likely tank in price. You'll avoid listings that will most likely get you IP complaints, all while cutting your learning curve in half just by watching this video from start to finish. Now, the first thing that we need to do is we need to hop over to Keepa.com, and on their homepage, we're going to scroll down and go down to Premium Data Access, and we're going to click on Learn More. Now, Keepa does have a free version of their software, but in my opinion, it doesn't give you the data that you're going to need to make those good buying decisions in your Amazon business. The biggest difference with the free and the paid subscription is this area right here. Current and historical stock offers, access to buy box statistics, sales rank, offer counts, rating, and review count. This is crucial information that we're going to need when we're doing product research. So once we decide, okay, it's time to sign up for Keepa, what we're going to do is we're going to go over to monthly subscription. You're going to have the option to log in or register. If you do not have an account, obviously you need to register, and then we'll prompt you to enter payment information. So after you sign up for the software, you will then add the extension. Now that you've signed up to the premium subscription of Keepa and you've added the Chrome extension, on any listing that is on Amazon.com, you'll be able to scroll down and you'll be able to see this Keepa chart. Now, if for some reason you have everything turned on the sidebar right here on Keepa, it is going to look very, very overwhelming for you. You don't want to do this. We don't need nearly all of the options that it gives us. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn all of these off. We're going to start with a blank slate, and then I will show you which ones are the most important and which ones are going to be the most commonly used. Okay, now that we have a completely clean slate, let's start going over the most important things that we're going to need to look at when we're doing product research. Now, what you're going to notice is that there's dates down here. So in any particular thing that we're looking at, so let's say we're looking at sales rank, we can see what the sales rank was on this date at this time. So you can see the bar that goes all the way to the below the chart, which says Friday, July 14th at 123. Okay, the sales rank was 474. If we're looking at price, we can hover over any point and we can see, okay, on Tuesday, July 25th at 125, the price for this item was $49.90. So this part is important to know so that we can see how things are moving at different times of year. We can base seasonality, we can base event-based demand, which we'll be talking about later on in the video. But we can also just get an idea of the historical data, prices, averages, all of that good stuff. So that is what this is for. If we come down here, we can actually turn these charts off. If we want to get rid of this middle chart, we can just come over here and click on sub ranks and it will take it away. If we want to take away this bottom chart, we'll go to less historical data and it'll take that away. Now, if we come over here, when we're talking about averages, we can hover over statistics and it'll tell you the lowest point that this product has ever sold at, the current place where this product has sold or the sales rank, the highest price point and sales rank, and the averages. Okay, and I'll show you where else we can see them later on in the video. Now we can also see that the parent category is video games and the subcategory would be Nintendo Switch games, right? So we only care about the video games when it comes to determining how fast a product is selling. You can also find that information over here where it says video games, Nintendo Switch games, but again, we are only interested in video games, the parent category. So let's start going down these one by one, and then we'll go over the header of this Keepa chart and we'll get into a lot of detail in this video. So let's go over this first one. This is sales rank. Now, sales rank is going to tell you how fast a product is selling on Amazon. The lower the sales rank, the closer that sales rank is to 1, the better it is selling in that parent category, which for this item is video games. The farther away that sales rank is from number 1, the slower it is going to be selling. So in this case, let's say the current sales rank right now is 390. Let's say we were to estimate that this product is selling, for example, 1,000 units at the sales rank of 390, but it is only selling 1,000 units because of the video game category. If we take that same sales rank of 390 and we apply it to grocery and gourmet or electronics or pet supplies, it may not be selling the same amount. It's not going to be selling at the same velocity. So I'm going to show you how to estimate sales velocity using the Jungle Scout estimator, but it's important to remember sales rank is going to be directly tied to the parent category that it is currently assigned to, which it should not change. If anything, it may be unassigned to a parent category and then we would lose the ability to see the sales rank. But let's say we are looking at the sales rank, we want to estimate how fast it is selling, and this is turned off, but this one is turned on. We do not take the sales rank into account when it comes to other child categories like Nintendo Switch games, or if you're going to, let's say you're going into toys and you start looking into cards, you're going to run into like card deck toys or card games or a bunch of other little subcategories. We don't take those into account when we're determining sales velocity. All we care about is the parent category. Now the buy box is this part of the listing. This is the buy box where you can add to cart or you can buy now. The majority of the sales on Amazon come from the buy box. So it is important for us to be able to list a product and be competitive so that we get sufficient buy box share so that we're actually making sales. So this is the buy box right here. Now, if we hover over this buy box line, we can click on anybody who is selling it. So if we click right here, we can see that VG911 got the buy box on this date at this time. This is really, really important data to know because we want to know if we buy this product, at what price can we expect to sell it, right? What are the averages? What does it usually sell for? Is it on a price spike? Is it on its way down? Like, is the price trending downwards? It is crucial information that you will not have with the free version of Keepa. So we can extend all of the time frames over here by just clicking year, all time, 3 months, 1 month, 1 week. Usually you're looking at 3 months and a year. You can also go back as far as the listing has existed, but markets change, right? So however it was doing back here in 2019 isn't going to be how it's doing in 2023 in most cases. So you can look back. Usually I'll look back only to see like maybe if it's a seasonality thing that's always been a seasonal product that isn't super obvious, or if there's like history of IP complaints, then I'll scroll back the whole time to look at that. But you have access to it. Usually you're going to be taking more into account year and 3 months, roughly that time. Now, if you want to highlight a section, all you have to do is, let's say we want to highlight this section, you would just click and hold, and then you would drag over the desired section and you'd be able to highlight that section right there. Now, the next one that we want to look at is Amazon. Is Amazon currently on this listing, or have they ever been on this listing? So let's go back to a year and we can see that Amazon, it comes in and out, but is not really too dominant in this listing. They're not really prevalent in this listing. They just come in and go out, come in and go out. Let's see if we go back to lifetime, and we can see in the beginning of this listing, Amazon was on it completely. Okay. So we want to be able to know, do we have to worry about competing with Amazon, or should we even buy this product? Because in some listings, Amazon doesn't compete whatsoever. Now, really quick, let me show you what it looks like when it comes to competing with Amazon. A lot of people, if they see Amazon on the listing, they just run away without checking any further. But you can see that with this product, this toothpaste that we're looking at right now, you can see that Amazon clearly shares the buy box. You can see the Amazon price is up here at $8.97, but the buy box is being sold, or the buy box is at $6.80 from RGM Group, and they're able to get that buy box regardless if Amazon's on the listing or not. Okay. Now, if you run into another listing where you can hover over this buy box line and it's always Amazon, you're not going to be able to sell that product because Amazon's not going to be sharing the buy box with you. Let me show you what that looks like. So if we come back to Super Mario Maker, our first example, and we go back to the history of the product, we can highlight this section right here. You can see that Amazon is always on it, right? But you don't see any other sellers down here. If you see other sellers down here and it's always just Amazon selling that product, what you need to do is you need to go over to data. You need to go to buy box statistics, and then you need to see what the buy box percentage is for Amazon compared to the other sellers. So like, for example, for the last year, Amazon has gotten 20% of the buy box for this product. But if you were to see Amazon has 99% or 100%, you do not want to jump on that listing because they are not going to share the buy box with you and you're going to get stuck with that inventory. Now, the next one that we want to look at is new price. So new price is going to be the lowest price that this product is currently selling, but it is not going to be related to the buy box or the FBA price. So the lowest price that we can get this product is $44.99, but the buy box price is $51.90. So sometimes these prices are going to be lower because people are doing FBM, and this price maybe doesn't reflect the FBM shipping that they're also charging you. So that's what the new price is going to be telling you. Now, in some listings, you're going to be wondering, do other FBA sellers sell this product? Have they ever sold this product in the past? And that is when we would click on new third-party FBA. So if we click on new third-party FBA, it's going to be a little hidden on this particular listing because of the buy box is jumping like crazy. So if we just turn off the buy box, we can see that new third-party FBA offers are always on this listing. Okay, if we can go back, they have been on this listing since the beginning of time, pretty much. Okay, so it's safe to say, okay, other FBA sellers are selling this, so we're probably pretty good to sell it as well. So it's not like a private label product or anything like that. Now, I don't worry about new third-party FBM because if I want to worry about FBM, I would just hover over this listing, specifically over the buy box line, and we would just go until we run into an FBM seller, right? So this one is selling FBM, so Click for Fun is selling FBM and they won the buy box on this day at this time. So we know FBM sellers are winning the buy box as well. Okay, so if I wanted to worry about FBM, that is how I would do it. And I would also worry about it in the data tab, which we will get into. Now, I keep everything else blank. I click this one on and off when I need it. Everything else I turn off when it comes to this sidebar on the main graph. Now, the second graph, I either turn it off or I leave it open and just leave the parent category. Now the bottom is really, really important. If you don't see it, all you have to do is click on more historical data, and I highly recommend that you do so you can see all the important information. Rating, I don't use it. It's telling you the rating of the listing, so you can see how the rating has changed over time. I just want to know that it has a decent rating, that we're not going to be dealing with a whole bunch of returns, or it's just a really shitty listing that's getting a bunch of issues on it. So I'm not too worried about the rating as long as the rating is good. Now the review count is important because let's say we're looking at an advanced listing, which we're going to go over later in the video, and that advanced listing doesn't have, let's say, a sales rank. It doesn't have a buy box. It doesn't have a bunch of information that we need. So one of the factors that we're going to look into is the review count. Is the review count increasing over time, which would be reflective of it selling on the platform? Now, new offer count, I always keep this on because it's telling us who is coming in and going out of the listing. Okay, so we know that sellers are coming in and going out. This is also going to help us when we start talking about IP complaints and making sure that Keepa lets us know, okay, this company has filed an IP complaint on all of the sellers on this listing, and we'll be able to identify that down here. I don't use used offer count or collectible offer count. And then again, this is the date range that you can move around. Now, this top header is really useful in certain situations. So if we go over to the data tab, we can get the product details, we can get offers, and we get the buy box statistics and the used buy box statistics. I don't sell used, so I don't worry about this, but it gives us all of the details that we need. So it gives us sales rank and the parent category. It gives us the rating, which you can also find the rating just on the listing up here. But what I like to look at product details for is the averages. So we can see, buy box average for 90 days, buy box average for 180 days. You can also see sales rank average. It's the same information that you would be seeing on this statistics bar right here. This is just a quicker glance, and this one gives you a little bit more detail. Okay, if you need UPCs, you can have them here. If you need the ASIN, you can have it here or up in the URL. And then what we would look at as well is the offers tab. Now the offers tab is really important. We're going to go over it more in depth when we're trying to look at advanced listings. But essentially we would click on what we're interested in selling this product as. So I'm interested in selling this product Prime, FBA only, and new. So it would tell us what sellers are selling and estimated how much they're selling in the last 30 days. Okay, so if we go down here, we can see that eKings has sold in the last 30 days 153 different units. Okay, and if we want to expand the date range, we always have the date range up here. So we can see, okay, what have people sold in the last 7 days, in the last 30 days, 90, 6 months, 1 year, all time. Keep in mind when we are looking at this is software. This isn't exact. It just gives us a better idea if we should purchase this item or not, if we have any questions about whether it sells or not. Okay, so you can see stock history going up and down right here, which we will get into later on. And now let's go over buy box statistics. So if we go over to buy box statistics, we can see who is winning the buy box, who's getting the majority share. Is it being shared evenly? Is somebody completely dominating the listing? And we also have the date range so we can know, what are the buy box statistics over the last year, 6 months, 90, 30 days. Now, we also can see right here where it says FBA, all of these offers are FBA offers. The ones that are not checked means they're FBM offers, okay? And we can also see price right here. This is important to take note of because if you only focus on the percentage but you don't look at the average price, you may be confused at why is this guy selling or getting way more buy box share and nobody else is. He might just be at a significantly lower price than everybody else is. Right now, it's pretty even, but let's say this guy was selling it for $49.99 and everybody else was selling it for $59.99. That would be the reason why this seller is getting the majority share. But let's say that everybody was priced higher, but you can source this product at a profitable price at this low price point that this seller is getting it would be worth testing out to see if you would get the buy box share as well. So really, really important to consider more than just this percentage point right here. Now over in the variations tab, we can see that if a product has a variation, it will give us all of the variations of that product. It'll give us the price history. It'll give us the history of Amazon being on the listing. It will give us the ratings. It will give us the rating history, and you can move these around however you see fit. I like to set it up like this because these are the most important things that I want to look at, but you have a lot of data here to go off of. But for me, the most important things are what does this price look like for this particular variation? Is Amazon on this variation? And is the rating count moving up? Now we're going to get more in depth into the variations section once we get to the last part of this video, which is reviewing a product that has a variation to determine whether we want to buy it or not. Now, one last thing when it comes to sales rank before we move on to part 3 is, let's say you have the sales rank, but what do you do with that information? How does it relate to how much it's actually selling, and how are you supposed to know that? So you would take the sales rank for this product, but I would take the average sales rank for this product. Let's say we want to know the average sales rank for 90 days, 365, and make sure there's no like giant spikes and drops that we should consider. So let's say 395 is the average sales rank for this product for the last 90 days. We would come over to junglescout.com/estimator and we would enter that information here. So we would enter the BSR, which is the best sellers rank. We would enter the marketplace that we're selling in, and we would enter the product category that we are selling in, and we would click on estimate sales. It's telling us at $395, that product that we're looking at right here is selling 1,700 times per month. Now there are other softwares that also give you an estimate. In my experience, the Jungle Scout estimator is the most accurate that we have. Sometimes it's going to tell you you've used up your 10 free estimates, but you can just work your way around that. You don't have to pay for it or anything like that. It's completely free. I've been using it for years, and it's still something that I rely on because I think they have the best data when it comes to sales velocity. Now, one of the biggest mistakes that new sellers make is that they don't take the time to really understand how to review product data. They get way too eager to just buy something because they see it at face value that it's making money. If they were to be selling it right now today and they buy that product, not taking the time to look at all of these other factors that would save them from investing in a product that is about to tank in price. So in this section, we're going to go over 5 different things that we need to look at to make sure that we're not buying products that are going to lose us money. All right, so let's talk about this product right here, Osteo Biflex Triple Strength. And what we're looking for in this listing is a consistent Keepa graph, or just take into account the price history, the averages, the highs, the lows, what we expect of a price that we can sell it at without running into any issues. So if we look at this graph right here, this looks really good, right? So it's like really steady at this 49.70, 49.65. It drops down to 30 from an FBM seller for a very short time. I think it's like a couple of hours, and it bounces right back, right? So if we're looking at this data, this looks fantastic, right? So we're like, okay, great. We're going to take this one and we're going to invest in this right away. And if we were brand new, we would get so excited that we're about to sell this product and we're going to make a ton of money. But what you need to do before you do that is you need to look at the price history for this product in the past. So we would extend this out, and what we would notice is that, yeah, it does sell great right now at $49.70, but it's only been selling at $49.70 for about 10 days. But for the rest of the time of this listing, all the way back to November, all the way back to October, it has hovered at sub $37, a little bit at $39, but then it's really been about $37, $37.75 for a long time here. And then before that, it was even lower. So this product is probably going to drop in price very, very soon because it is at that price spike. And for the life of that product beforehand, it has not even been close to that price. So right now it's on a price spike. We need to take into account where has it been stable at before. What's the average? What's the low? And the low for this is about 33, 35, and the average is pretty much $37. So if we can buy this at $37 and be okay at maybe a little bit lower than that, then okay, we can invest in it. But if we buy it at $49.70 and let's say we're only making a couple of bucks, well, when it drops in price, $10, $12, we're going to lose money. Okay, now here's another listing. This is Marvel Hasbro Carnage. So this product is a good example of another reason why a listing will tank in price. So if we look at this listing, it's selling for around $49 down to $45. Yep, $44, $47, $48. But if we look at the sellers, the seller count down here is at 21 sellers on June 18th. And then it jumps all the way up to 121 sellers and the price absolutely plummets. One thing that you need to understand is that if you see the amount of sellers climbing very, very rapidly, like you see a sharp spike upwards, it is almost guaranteed that that product is going to go down in price. So if you see that, make sure that you consider that factor before you decide to invest in it, because more than likely you're either going to have to hold on to it, you're going to make significantly less than you thought, or you're going to have to take a loss. So if we scroll this back, we can see, look at how flat this product is for the last year. Down roughly, 20 to 30 offers, and then all of a sudden it just jumps up. It's just like 5x'd in sellers, and obviously the price just followed downwards because the price was pretty good for the whole time. As soon as a bunch of sellers showed up, the price plummeted down to $23. So from 49 to 23 in just a couple of months because of how many sellers came onto the listing. So that is another factor to look at. What is the seller trend? Is the seller count spiking quickly? Okay, we need to slow down and we need to look at, is this worth trying to risk buying it and sending it in and selling at a loss, or selling it at a much smaller profit? Now, another thing that you want to consider is the price trend. Sometimes products are going to come in, they're going to sell really, really well, and then the market just dies out for that. There's no demand for that product anymore, and you can just see a steady decline in price, and we need to consider that as well. So on this particular product, this is Fallout 76. We can see, if we go back to the life of the product, we can see that this product has sold pretty well, and it's just slowly had a decline in price over time because people just don't want to buy it anymore. It's older, maybe it's not the cool game anymore. Maybe better games have come out. Whatever it is, it happens in every single market, in every single category. So the price point, let's say if you were trying to look at it over, you're trying to get a product and see, oh, maybe I can sell it at this higher price. Sometimes products will go back to their all-time high. Sometimes they won't. Sometimes it's just a dead listing. It's just going to sell at a slower rate for the rest of the time it's on there. So we can see that it's slowly going down in price, even though the seller count isn't outrageous. The demand just isn't there for this product anymore. So we can see that it's slowly going down. So if we start looking at a product at, let's say, $735, thinking, okay, we can probably still sell it, maybe once it comes back up here to the $19.99 price point, chances are that's not going to happen on a product that just has a steady decline downwards over time. Okay, so now let's go over seasonality and event-based demand when it comes to price tanking. So we're gonna go back to this Carnage story right here. This product is affected by event-based demand. If we just look at the whole listing, we can actually just look at the life of the listing. The Venom movie came out around October of 2021. You can see that as that product came out, as the movie was being announced, it was being marketed, it was anticipated to be a great movie, whatever. Toys like this of characters that were going to be in that movie came out, and they had great demand until the movie was released. So this product had great demand right around the release. Then the sales rank actually started to increase, probably because there was less and less stock. So the price increased, but the sales rank increased. Then it had a short drop, and then it has never recovered as far as sales velocity, all the way up until now when the price is just half the price that it usually sells at. But this is a good example of event-based demand. You have the event that's coming up, all of the anticipation, so people are getting the toys that are related to that. And then after the event, the sales rank and the demand just start to diminish. So if you buy a product that is, has event-based demand, and you buy a ton of inventory, you might be holding on to that inventory for longer than you think if you don't take into account the possibility that the demand may disappear. Okay, so this is a good example of event-based demand. So we see the demand right here. We see that it's released, and then the demand starts to diminish over time, and it never quite recovers. So that is event-based demand. You can do that with, toys or video games or movies, whatever it may be. So with Star Wars coming out, or like, let's say the Barbie movie just came out, I'm sure there is a lot of event-based demand on toys that are related to those movies. The next one is seasonality. Pools are the perfect example for seasonality. They sell great during the summer. They don't sell for shit for the rest of the year. So this is the Keepa chart for pools, for this product right here. But we're gonna just focus on the sales rank for this one. So we can see that this is the most clear-cut example of a seasonal product, okay? Sells great during the summer, shoots up during the winter. Sells great during the summer, shoots up during the winter, and it happens every single year. So if, let's say we just highlight these four right here. So let's say you're going to invest into this product. You see the product, you know it's profitable right now, and you decide to invest in it in the middle of summer or towards the end of the summer. What's gonna happen is that you're going to have a bunch of inventory that you don't sell out of, because in order to profit from seasonal products, you should be stocking up your inventory around here a couple of months before, so it's all available for sale as soon as the demand hits its peak. So if you're stocked and ready to go roughly around here, February, because you've been sending in the inventory, so that when the summer spike comes, you can profit from all of those sales. If you wait until here, you're going to be holding on to a lot of inventory, and you're going to be dealing with a lot of price tanking from people that want to just get rid of their inventory because they understand that they didn't sell out of their inventory and the demand is about to leave. So what they need to do is they need to dump the price in order to get rid of that inventory. Okay, so it's very, very important to look back at the Keepa data so that you understand what this product really looks like over a broad horizon. Is this product seasonal or not? Some products you might not even expect that they're seasonal, but maybe they are. Sometimes you're gonna run into products, let's say pumpkin spice products. There's some that sell well all year long. There's some that only sell well during the fall season. So you need to look back at the data so that you can decide, is this product a seasonal product or not? Now, this is a very important part of the video. I'm going to show you two different ways that you can use by using Keepa to avoid buying products that have a risk of IP complaints. How you're going to do that is you're going to look at a listing, right? And over time, you're going to gain more experience when it comes to identifying products that are more than likely private label. And they're pretty easy to identify because most of the time when you have these private label sellers, they're pretty much just putting letters together and calling it a brand, right? Like this is the brand name of this product right here. But if you scroll down and you go to the more historical data, if you see that for the life of the product, it has been one or two sellers down below right here, and every time a seller comes in and then goes out, it is most likely a private label product and you should not buy it. Now, the reason why I say one or two is because sometimes these brands will have themselves on a listing two separate times, which is against Amazon's TOS, but somehow they get it done. And anytime a new seller comes into that listing, they quickly get them off. And if you happen to make the mistake of investing your money into a private label product from a wholesaler, you're going to get kicked off that listing and you're going to have issues with your account. Now, let me show you the second way that you can identify IP risk when it comes to using Keepa to protect your account. So we're going to be looking over this Milwaukee brand right here. Milwaukee is known for filing IP complaints, and we do have some softwares that we can use like the ScanUnlimited IP Alert and IP Alert themselves. I have a discount code down below for them if you guys would like a discount on them. And these tools are great. This is the easiest way to know if a brand is going to file an IP complaint on you, but they don't pick up everything. Okay, so like for example, ScanUnlimited's IP Alert is picking up that Milwaukee files IP alerts, but IP Alert is not. Okay, so they don't always pick up everything and they don't always pick up the same. So I have both. But if we come down to the Keepa graph, and let's say we're just looking at the 3 month, we're not going to know that they file IP complaints because there's no history of them filing IP complaints in the last 3 months. This is why it's important to look back at the historical data to see what we're dealing with. So if we go back 1 year, we can see that they have filed an IP complaint roughly in May. And if we highlight this section, you can see a sharp drop from 39 sellers down to 22, down to 21. When you see a Keepa drop that's just a sharp drop overnight, this is more than likely the brand coming on to Amazon and filing IP complaints on the sellers that are on that listing in an attempt to kick them off. So now that we know that there's one time that they're suspected of filing IP complaints, let's see if they're a brand that files them regularly. So if we go back to all time, we'll highlight a section right around here. We can see that they have filed IP complaints from 2021 to 2023, and they filed them 1, 2, 3, 4 different times. So this is a brand that you should probably stay away from. These sellers right here are probably about to run into an IP risk. So let's say you're watching this video a few months after it's posted, go back and check this listing to see if these guys got hit with an IP complaint, because most likely they will, because this brand has multiple times where they have filed for IP complaints and try to get the sellers off of the listings, and then people just naturally come back and keep selling the products. For me personally, when it comes to IP complaints, I try to avoid the headache every chance that I get. I don't risk it and try to get a couple sales in here and there, because in my opinion, there is an abundance of products that I don't need to go and risk having to deal with the brand, having to deal with Amazon, and having that mark on my account. But that is my personal preference. But this is how Keepa can show you that, hey, this brand is known for causing issues with sellers. You should probably pay a little bit more attention to what you're doing when it comes to purchasing from this brand. Now, you're going to run into different types of listings. Most of the listings that I've shown you so far are just examples of a standard listing. It has a sales rank, it has a buy box, it has new offered information, it has historical data, it has review count, it has buy box statistics, it has all of the information that you need to make a solid buying decision. But there are products on Amazon that I refer to as advanced listings that may not have some of this information. An advanced listing for me are products that maybe they don't have a sales rank, or maybe they don't have a buy box, maybe they're out of stock, but it doesn't give us the necessary information to know clear cut 100% this product is selling right now. So these are known as advanced listings. And if you don't know how to read these advanced listings, you can really be leaving a lot of money on the table, because a lot of times these products are selling very, very well, or they just might be out of stock. So if you can find inventory for that product, you can sell that product at a premium. But if you just avoid it because it doesn't have the necessary information, then you're going to be losing out on money for sure. Okay, so we're going to be using this example. This is a Good and Gather fruit strip, and this is a great example of an advanced listing that we're going to go over. So if we scroll down to the Keepa graph, you're going to notice that there's no information up here. This product actually does have a buy box, but they do not have a sales rank. The first thing that we need to do is we need to look at all of the data that we have at our disposal to see if it has ever had a sales rank, if it has ever had a buy box, to get an idea of what it's sold like in the past. So this product actually has had a sales rank all the way back in 2021, the summer of 2021. And then you can see that for some time right here, it didn't have a buy box and it didn't have a sales rank. So we need to see, has it ever had a sales rank? Has it ever had a buy box? Those are the first things that we need to identify. The next thing that we need to identify is, why hasn't it had these things? Like, why hasn't it had a buy box? Why hasn't it had a sales rank? Sometimes you're going to notice that a listing is suppressed, so it's not going to be assigned to a parent category. If it's not assigned to a parent category, it will not have the sales rank attached to it. So that may be a reason why there is no sales rank. Doesn't mean the product's not selling, just means it's suppressed right now, so it's selling less. And that's just one of the reasons why it may not have it. Now, another thing that you can look at is, what has the stock levels been like? So if we turn off review count and we can see this blue line on historical offers, right, new offer count. If the blue line goes blank, like it has a lot of times in the past, that means that there is no stock currently being offered on Amazon. There is nobody who has inventory for this product, which is why the buy box will go away and the sales rank may go away, or may just fluctuate a much higher sales rank because nobody is currently selling it. So we can see that the reason for this product for not having a sales rank and not having a buy box for some time is because it just ran out of inventory on multiple occasions. So it has been hard to get this product in the past. Okay, great. We understand that now. So we see that it does have a sales rank in the past, but because it's so far away, it's 2 years ago. Like I've said earlier in the video, markets change. So it doesn't mean necessarily that it's going to have the same demand as here. So I would take this with a grain of salt. If we went back a year and let's say, 6-7 months ago, it had a pretty decent sales rank and then it just went away. Okay, I would take that more into account, but because demand does change, markets change, I wouldn't take this into consideration very much. So we'll go back a year and we can see that it does have a buy box so that we know it's being sold and at what price that product is being sold. Okay, that's a good sign. The next thing that we need to look at is the new offer count. We want to see that sellers are coming onto the listing, but they're not staying. They're coming onto the listing and they're leaving. This is a sign that they are selling through their inventory. If we got onto a listing and let's say it was like this for the entire year, there were 16 offers, one dropped out, one came on, and nobody is leaving, like it's not consistently filtering through, it's not consistently going in and out of sellers, that means people aren't selling through their inventory. So luckily, if we go back a year, we can see that a year ago, the offer count was 1, and then it climbed all the way up to 20, then it went down to 6, then it climbed back up to 15, went down to 9, climbed back up to 18, and currently it's down to 9 again. This is a great sign showing that sellers are coming in, they're selling through inventory, and they're going out, and some are probably restocking as well. So we already have some inclination that this product is selling to some degree. The next thing that we need to look at is the review count. If the review count is increasing, chances are that it is selling. You're not going to have a situation where one person is buying one product and then that same person is leaving that inventory. So you're not having one for one. One sale, one review. One sale, one review. Amazon came out a while back and said that usually it's about 1%. So out of every 100 people that purchase, maybe 1 or 2 reviews will come from those 100 purchases. So if we have a product that is at a review count of 3 at the beginning of the last 12 months, and then now it's at 14, chances are this product has sold over 1,000 easily in that time frame. Okay, we don't know exactly how fast it's selling. It's just an estimation. So if we go back 3 months, we can say in the last 3 months, the review count has gone from 9 to 14. So 5 reviews in the last 3 months. So chances are it's sold over 500 units. Not an exact science. It's just a data kind of point that we kind of take into consideration. As long as the review count is going up, chances are people are buying this product. Okay, so now we know there's a buy box. We know that sellers are coming in and going out. We know that there are reviews being left on this product. We have a good inclination that it is selling. Now, the next thing that we need to look at is we need to go to data. Once we go to data, we're going to go to the buy box statistics. The reason we go here is because we want to see that sellers may have been on the listing for an extended period of time. If they have been on the listing and for an extended period of time, chances are that they're constantly restocking this product, and they would only be restocking this product if they were selling through that inventory. Now, keep in mind, it might also mean that they made a really bad purchase order and they have so much inventory that they just can't sell through. So the next step is going to help us weed that option out. But if we look back at the 30, 90, 6 months, and 1 year mark, we can see that some sellers have been on this listing for an extended period of time. So Adventure eStore has the majority share of the buy box right here. If we go back for 90 days, they're still on the listing. If we go back 6 months, they're still on the listing. If we go back 1 year, they are still on the listing. So this is potentially a good sign that they are restocking this inventory. But what if they're not selling through the inventory? They just made a really bad purchase. So what we need to do is we need to keep in mind Adventure eStore, and we need to go over to offers. Okay, so if we go over to offers, we can click the filters that we want to filter out that apply to us. So Prime, let's say FBA only. And we can see that there's only these 5 sellers currently, and that Adventure eStore is no longer on here, which means they have recently sold out. So if we just want to see their data, we can go to include historical offers, and we would scroll down until we run into that seller that was on here for at least a year. So we can see them right here, and we can hover over this blue line, which is their stock history. And it's going to tell us, are these guys selling anything, and how much are they selling estimated according to the software. So we can see that Adventure eStore recently sold out completely. Okay, so this is a great sign. This means that they bought enough inventory that they were selling out, but they didn't make a huge purchase order that they're just not moving because the product isn't selling. Okay, so they have an estimated 100 sales in the last 30 days, estimated 11. This take into account, but it's not an exact science. This is not like a exact picture of how much is being sold, but it does give us an extra data point to consider when we're looking at these advanced listings. Now, the next one we want to look at is long and shop, and we can see that this guy has sold from, let's say July 16th, he had 27 in stock, and by September 6th, they sold out completely. Okay, so this one's saying he sold 5, but he sold more than 5, obviously. So we can see that it's selling. Okay, so let's include historical offers, and we just want to focus on what people are doing right now. So we can see that these sellers are moving inventory. started at 8 and now they have 2. This one's not selling anything. This guy's selling quite a bit and they keep restocking. So you can see it's going down from 13 to 1, then it goes back to 13, then it drops all the way down to 2. This guy's selling a couple units, then they drop down. Also consider some of these guys that are not selling anything, what is their price at? Okay, so if we look at this guy who keeps restocking and selling more than probably everybody, his price is at $20.51. This guy who hasn't sold anything is at $21.22. So a price might be taking a big factor in the reason why they're not selling as much as somebody else. Very, very important part to check when we're talking about advanced listings. So you've ran into an advanced listing and you double checked everything that we just went over to ensure that more than likely this product is selling on Amazon to some degree. The next step, in my personal opinion, is to do a test order. The reason you do a test order and not just order hundreds and hundreds of units of this product is because these are all guesstimations. We're making an educated guess based off of the data that we do have, but we don't know exactly how much this product is selling. The most important data that you can have is your own data when it comes to selling on a listing. So if you find this listing and you estimate that it's selling, 50 units a month, but then you send it in, you're selling through 100 or you're selling through 25, that data is more important than the data that we just gathered for this advanced listing. So I would do a small test order, and the reason is because it's better to sell through, let's say 10 units in one day and then worry about restocking than it is to buy 100 units, send them in, and then they don't sell whatsoever. And then you're stuck with 100 units of a product that does not sell in Amazon's warehouse, and all your inventory and your money is stuck in that product. Test to make sure that it is selling after you do everything that we just mentioned in these advanced listing product research section. Now, variations was something that in the beginning when I was really learning product research, it's something that confused me so much, and it would often lead me to just walk away from a listing altogether because I just didn't know. Is this product selling? And it was easier for me to go to an easier listing where I knew that the data was solid than to estimate what this product could potentially sell. But variations are a great barrier of entry that would separate you from all of those newer sellers who aren't going to take the work to figure out how to read a variation listing on Amazon. So in this section, I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do when it comes to variations. Okay, so let's go over this Crest Complete 3-pack, and we can see that it has 5 different variations: 2.5 ounce, 0.8 ounce, a couple other ounces, and also pack of 4, pack of 3, pack of 12. Okay, so this is a great example. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go down here, you're gonna go over to variations. Once you get on variations, you're gonna be able to see all this information that we talked about in the beginning of the video. And what we're most concerned with is what listings are getting the most ratings, or they're just getting ratings in general. Okay, so if we have the option of buying this variation, which is the top variation, or this variation, we would obviously choose the one that's getting the most reviews. This is the most important part of looking through variations. We want to see that it is actively getting reviews on this particular variation. Now, you're gonna see that it's gonna be ranked, so you can click on this and it'll tell you which ones are the top. But let's say you have one that's number 1 and it's at 43% currently, but then you have one that's like this, 36, right? And let's say you look at these reviews. So this one has 1288 and then it goes all the way up to 1547. This one has 1134 and it goes up to 1296. These are good like little metrics that you can just look at a glance. But let's say this 36% in the same time period got significantly more reviews than the top one. It would be smart to go and try to source this variation as well, because chances are if it is currently getting more reviews at a faster rate, it's going to take that top spot. So this is always changing. So keep that in mind. But when it comes to variation, we want to look at what the price is. We want to look if Amazon's on it, and we want to take into account the amount of reviews that it is currently getting. Once we see, okay, this is the variation we want to source. Let's say we have access, for example, let's say we have access to all of them, okay? All right, we have access to all of these. Well, I don't want to consider these right now, but I will consider these 3. If I want to look at the data further, I would just click on the pink text right here. It would take me to that listing, and then I would be able to scroll down and look at the Keepa data for this specific variation. Let's say I don't pick a variation, because you are going to run into a product and let's say you haven't picked a variation and it's still going to spit out a Keepa graph. If you don't pick a variation, this data isn't going to be as accurate as if you were to go to the variations tab and find that specific variation and then type it in. So make sure you choose the variation that you want to look at so that you can have a more accurate look at the Keepa data. And it's not just getting all the Keepa data and turning it into one, that it's not going to give you an accurate reading. Also with the variation, if you're having trouble finding something, you can just click on title and type in the title right here. Like I said, you can rearrange all of these, but when it comes to variations, these are the main things that I look at so that I can make a good decision on how many I want to buy. And usually with variations, I will test because I want to make sure that I'm going to be selling that product. Sometimes with variations, it gives you great data and it just doesn't sell nearly as much as I anticipated it, even though I looked at all of the data. And sometimes I'll look at all the data, it says it's going to sell, let's say 10 units, and then it ends up selling 50. So for me, when it comes to a variation that I'm not 100% on, I will not be scared to go and test that out, because like I said earlier, it's better to send in 10 units, sell out in a day, and worry about restocking than sending in 100 units and getting stuck with that inventory and it not selling. Hopefully you guys found this video extremely helpful. This is probably one of my longest videos that I've made, but I know it will be very, very valuable for those of you that decided to watch from beginning to end. You will not need to watch another Keepa video. You can just go and start reading Keepa graphs, refer back to this video if you need to, once you start implementing, and it will help you drastically. If you guys did find this video helpful, it took me a very long time to make for you guys. I'd appreciate it if you subscribed, liked the video, commented down below, and I'll see you guys in that next one.